Week 2 is here, and it's time for some Sunday night football action between a pair of 0-1 teams looking to right the ship as the Eagles come in following a 38-35 loss to the Redskins, and the Falcons look to bounce back from their opening day loss at the hands of the Vikings. Second play of the game, and another rough start for the Falcon defense as Jordan Howard has a huge hole, runs right past Ricardo Allen, and is on his way to a 46-yard run down to the Atlanta 30. Then 3 plays later, 3rd and 6, where Carson Wentz looks to throw, tries to find Nelson Aguilar, but Isaiah Oliver breaks up the pass, bringing up 4th down. Jake Elliott comes on, puts through a 43-yarder, and the Eagles lead 3-0. Eagles get it right back and are on the move again as Wentz moves to his right and finds a crossing Deshaun Jackson over the middle for 28 yards near midfield. Eagles across midfield now facing a 3rd and 1 where Wentz fits a pass into Alshon Jeffrey for 11 yards to move the chains. Next play and the chains move again as Jordan Howard with another huge hole, and Ricardo Allen makes the touchdown saving tackle, and the Falcons continue to have no answers as on the next play reserve running back Nyheim Hines takes the carry just shy of the marker, and that would later lead to Wentz throwing with all the time in the world before finally finding Deshaun Jackson in the end zone for a 10-yard touchdown and a rodeo celebration as Atlanta once again finds themselves down early. Falcons need to answer back, and on the second play of their drive, Devontae Freeman moves the chains with a 16-yard run up the middle. Then facing a 3rd and 4, the Falcons cross midfield as Matt Ryan finds Mohamed Sanu for the 10-yard first down catch. 4 plays later, Falcons still driving, give goes to Ito Smith, and look at the juke inside. Smith picks up the first down and more on the 28-yard carry to set up 1st and goal. We're on the very next play, Matt Ryan throwing and going to the corner of the end zone where Calvin Ridley makes the catch, keeps both feet in bounds, and hangs on to the 7-yard score as Atlanta responds to make it 10-7. But as the first quarter comes to a close, the Falcon defense still with no answers as Jordan Howard closes in on 100 yards by running over Ricardo Allen and picking up another 27 yards into Atlanta territory. Then first play of the second quarter, Eagles with a 3rd and 6 and keep the drive alive as Wentz finds Nelson Aguilar for the 13-yard catch. 5 plays later, 3rd down again where Wentz looks to throw and must have the TikTok X factor as he has all day to throw before finally finding Deshaun Jackson for the 9-yard completion to set up 1st and goal. And on the next play, the give goes to fullback Sethan Carter, who carries half the Falcon defense into the end zone for the 3-yard score, and the Eagles push their lead back to 10. Just before half now, Eagles near midfield leading by 7, and Howard continues to gash the Falcons with another first down run of 13 yards. Then out of the 2-minute warning, Wentz throwing and finds a wide open Zach Ertz for 15 more down inside the 20. Next play, Wentz throwing again and finds another wide open receiver in Alshon Jeffrey, which stops the clock and sets up 1st and goal. And on 1st and goal, Wentz throwing again and tries to squeeze it into Alshon Jeffrey, but Ricardo Allen steps in front to pick it off, and he's off to the races. Nyheim Hines is going to catch him, but not before he thwarts the Eagles' drive and returns the pick near midfield. So Falcons with a chance now, and on 2nd and 10, Ryan looks to throw and fires to Mohamed Sanu for the 12-yard catch, but you see the yellow on the screen, and a Chris Lindstrom hold halts the Falcon drive, and we head into the break with the Eagles leading 17-10. Falcons go 3 and out to start the 3rd. Eagles driving again, and on 1st down from the Atlanta 27, Wentz play fakes and finds Alshon Jeffrey deep down the middle for another Eagles touchdown as the Philadelphia offense continues to dominate, and they take a 24-10 lead. Eagles offense again with the ball. Wentz throwing and hits Alshon Jeffrey, who avoids a tackle and is off to the races as he crosses midfield, picking up another 46 yards into Atlanta territory. Next play, and the chains move again as Jordan Howard will not be stopped, breaking tackles and picking up 17 more inside the Falcon 20. 3 plays later, Falcons get the Eagles to 3rd down, but once again can't get off the field as Wentz finds Alshon Jeffrey for 7 yards to make it 1st and goal. And 2 plays later, Wentz throwing, Falcons bring the blitz, Wentz is hit, ball comes out, Falcons pick it up, and for now the game is saved as another Eagle red zone turnover keeps the deficit at 14 and the score at 24-10. So Falcons with new life now, and on their second play, it's Ryan to Jones over the middle for a 22-yard gain. 5 plays later, Falcons across midfield and moving the chains again as Ryan finds Austin Hooper for another 11-yard gain. Then to end the third quarter, it's 11 more as Devontae Freeman takes the give and gives Atlanta another new set of downs. Falcons offense keeps rolling to start the fourth as on 2nd and 10, Ryan stands in and delivers to Austin Hooper, picking up 14 to make it 1st and goal. And on the next play, the give goes to Devontae Freeman, who finds a lane and gets into the end zone. And through it all, the Falcons have cut it back to 7, but can that defense get a stop? And facing a 3rd and 5, the answer would be yes, as Wentz finds Dallas Goedert, but Devondre Campbell stops him shy of the marker, so Atlanta down 7 and getting the ball right back. But immediately facing a 2nd and long, Ryan throwing and somehow fits the pass into Julio Jones, who breaks tackles and picks up 17 to move the sticks. Next play, Ryan with the play fake, and again a dangerous pass somehow finds its target in Calvin Ridley for 20 more yards as Atlanta crosses midfield. But then on 3rd and 9, the luck runs out for Atlanta as Josh Sweat gets in for the sack to bring up 4th down. Giorgio Tavecchio comes on to put through the 49-yarder and make it 24-20. Ensuing drive, Wentz with the play fake, and he's engulfed in red as Duke Riley drops him for the sack to make it 3rd and long, where Wentz again throwing dumps short to Nyheim Hines, and oh no, Deuce Douglas with a terrible play lets him run right by and pick up 19 yards and a devastating 1st down with 5.5 to go. Next play, in the Falcons defense reverting to form as Wentz finds Zach Ertz across midfield for 17 more and chalk up 16 more on the next play as Wentz play fakes again before finding Alshon Jeffrey, who continues his huge night. Then on 3rd and 2, Falcons have to get a stop, but Jordan Howard pushes forward, picking up 6 as the Falcons will have to start thinking about using timeouts. But before they can even consider it on the next play, the Eagles for some reason still throwing, and Wentz fires into traffic and right to Deion Jones as Philadelphia channels their inner Riverhogs with a 3rd turnover inside the red zone and gives Atlanta a chance at a game-winning touchdown drive. And on their first play, the chains move as Ryan play fakes and finds Austin Hooper for 14 over the middle, but then out of the 2-minute warning, Ryan throwing again, good protection, but time runs out and he's sacked, setting up 3rd and long, where it'd be more of the same as he just can't pull the trigger, and he's dropped again for the sack, making it 4th and 24. And with the game on the line, Ryan throws up a prayer for Julio Jones, who gets plastered as the ball falls right into the hands of Ronald Darby, effectively ending this one. But Atlanta still with 3 timeouts could hold them to a field goal, but Philadelphia with the dagger as on 3rd and 10 they play fake and find a wide open Richard Rodgers, and Philadelphia comes into Atlanta, dominates the Falcon defense, and walks out with a 31-20 win to move to 1-1 on the year. Meanwhile, the Falcons find themselves with a chance at a game-winning drive for the 2nd week in a row, but can't come away with the victory and fall to the dreaded 0-2 after giving up 500 yards for the 2nd week in a row. Atlanta will look to get things right next week as they head to Indy to face the Colts. All right, guys, so another tough loss there in a game where the score was closer than the reality, as we pretty much got thoroughly dominated by their offense, and the only thing that kept it close or kept it from being a blowout was getting those turnovers, all 3 of which I think came inside the 10-yard line. But it sucks to start 0-2, and in both games we've been in a position for a game-winning drive, but just not meant to be quite yet. But not much else to say there, so we're going to get right into some team stuff, which starts again this week with player upgrades, where we've got Ricardo Allen, who had a big interception in the Eagles game, and he gets 5 different attribute upgrades, with awareness going up 2, and then man coverage, play rec, press, and tackle all going up 1. Then the only other player with a skill point this week is rookie right tackle Caleb McGarry, and he goes up 1 on impact block and pass block power, and then up 2 on run block power. And then heading into next week's game, we have our first breakout player scenario of the year, and that's going to be for Duke Riley, who picked up 3 tackles, 1 for a loss, and a sack against the Eagles, and it looks like I'm going to need to hold the Colts to less than 250 yards, which I'll tell you right now is not going to happen, or I need to get Duke Riley an interception, a forced fumble, a tackle for loss, or a sack, which isn't going to be easy either because he only really plays when I run a 4-3 or the 46 defense, which isn't really that often, but upgrading his dev would be a nice boost to a linebacking core that outside of Deion Jones is pretty weak. But moving to the Around the League news, we start as always with the league scores, and week 2 kicked off on Thursday night with the Bucs eking out a win over the Panthers. Moving to Sunday, the Ravens take down the Cards. Cowboys and Titans both pick up division wins. Steelers, Bills, and Bengals all win their Super Bowl rematches. Chargers fall 24-7 to the Lions, while the Packers take down the Vikings 34-20. Texans tame the Jaguars. New England struggles in Miami continue with a 23-21 loss to the Dolphins. Chiefs do what they do best and again beat the Raiders. Saints avenge their NFC Championship loss with a 42-23 beatdown of the Rams. Broncos take down the Bears at Mile High, and then capping off the week on Monday night, the Jets beat the Browns by a score of 28-21. And even though it's still very early in the season, we still take a look at the standings where the Jets have jumped out to an early lead in the AFC East. Ravens and a surprise, and the Bengals do the same and lead the North. In the South, the Texans are also 2-0 with a one-game lead over the Titans, Jags, and Colts. And out West, it's the Donkeys alone at the top with the Chiefs a game back and the Raiders and Chargers both 2 back at 0-2. On the NFC side, the Cowboys are the NFC's last remaining unbeaten team and lead the East at 2-0. The entire North currently sits tied at 1-1, while in the South, the top 3 teams are also 1-1, but we sit in dead last at 0-2. And then lastly, everybody out West lost this week, so the division continues to look upside down after 2 weeks, with the 49ers and Cardinals leading the way there. This week's AFC Offensive Player of the Week is Titans quarterback Marcus Mariota. Mariota completed 30 of his 39 attempts against the Colt defense, amassing 382 yards passing and 3 touchdowns through the air, while also adding another 54 on the ground. Mariota's 436 total yard day helped the Titans beat division rival and our next opponent in the Colts by a score of 38-35. On the NFC side, it was the man selected one spot ahead of him in the 2015 NFL Draft as Buccaneers quarterback and crab leg Steeler Jameis Winston is this week's winner. Winston completed just over 60% of his passes for only 289 yards, but 4 of his 20 completions ended up in the end zone as he was the catalyst in getting his team back to 1-1 with a 35-34 win over the Panthers. Defensively for the AFC, Stephon Gilmore takes home this week's Player of the Week award. Gilmore only notched 4 tackles with 1 going for a loss, but also picked off Dolphins quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick and returned it 8 yards for a score. However, it was not enough as New England fell 23-21 in Miami. As for the NFC, it was our very own Deion Jones taking home the Defensive Player of the Week award. Jones was in on 10 tackles against the Eagles, and as you saw earlier, was able to pick off Carson Wentz late in our game and give us a chance to win, but it wasn't to be as we ultimately lost 31-20 on Sunday night. Moving on to the NFL leaders, we always start with the passers, and leading the way in yards is Vikings quarterback Kirk Cousins with 750. Sam Darnold takes the top spot in touchdown passes with 6, and Dak Prescott now leads the league in passer rating with his 132.1 mark. Kareem Hunt has disappeared from the league rushing leaders, and Ezekiel Elliott now leads the league in yards with 259. Jordan Howard did just about anything he wanted against our defense. However, the one thing he didn't do is find the end zone, but he is still tied for the league lead in rushing touchdowns. And then lastly, Todd Gurley takes over the yards per carry lead, averaging a whopping 8.1 yards per carry on the year. Emmanuel Sanders had a huge opening day, which allows his 7-catch, 63-yard week 2 performance to keep him atop both the receptions and the receiving yards leaders. And then Dante Pettis was last week's receiving touchdown leader with 3, but this week he has company as Cowboys receiver Amari Cooper joins him at the top, also with 3 touchdown catches. And then wrapping up the leaders with the defense, we see a rare occurrence where a cornerback is leading the league in tackles as Darrell Worley of the Raiders is tied at the top with Bobby Wagner and his teammate Vontaze Burfict. Von Miller added another sack in week 2 and is tied with Fletcher Cox for the lead in sacks. As for interceptions, it's a new face in Christian Kirksey of the Browns, who is one of now 32 different players tied for the top spot with 1 interception on the year. So as we wrap up here, we take a look at the week 3 schedule where the Titans and Jags kick off off the week on Thursday night. Bengals head to Buffalo looking to continue their hot start. Lions head to Philadelphia. Jets head to New England with a chance to move to 3-0 and drop the Patriots to 1-2. Raiders at Vikings, Ravens at Chiefs, and we head to Indianapolis in desperate need of a win. Broncos at Packers in a Super Bowl 32 rematch. Dolphins at Cowboys in a Super Bowl 6 rematch. Giants at Bucks, Panthers at Cardinals, Steelers at 49ers. Saints travel to Seattle, Texans travel to Los Angeles. Then on Sunday night, it's the NFC champs still looking for their first win as they head to Cleveland. And wrapping up the week on Monday night is the Redskins hosting the Bears. But that's going to do it for week 2, guys. As mentioned before, another tough loss, and we're in a spot that I didn't really want to be in early on in the season where we're already desperate for a win. In the next video, we will be facing off against the 1-1 Colts, who will have Andrew Luck. He is not retired in my franchise, so his legacy will live on in digital form, and hopefully our defense will put up a little bit better of a fight and we'll get our first W. Next video will also feature our first look at both scouting and negotiations, so some more team stuff rather than just league stuff for me to cover, so that should be cool as well. As always, I appreciate you guys tuning in, and I hope you're enjoying the Falcons franchise so far. More to come soon, and until next time...